You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
We live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world where propaganda and misinformation travel the airways at the speed of lies. But in the midst of the violence and chaos, a great awakening is taking place. And as the media empires continue to collapse, a new network is forming. A network of truth. A network of courage. A network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, Aura the Informationalist.
Yes, peace and greetings, people. This is Aura the Informationalist, and welcome to the Network of Awareness. We got a Narcissism series for you today, people. Yes, a Narcissism series. I got my little man, little Link, got my dog with me, and he's chilling out here in the studio today. And want to let you know that it's a wonderful, beautiful Tuesday morning, and you're probably going to be able to get access to this broadcast in the afternoon, just because I decided to do a pre-record. I was going to go live, but you know, when you're compelled in the spirit to do something, you got to go with it, man. And that's one thing I don't do no more, is I don't question the Most High. When the Most High is guiding me to do something, is for a great reason, and that reason is there to serve me, just like it's there to serve you. Whenever something happens for a reason, it's there to serve you, people. So welcome to this Narcissism series show today. And I just want to say that this one is one that I'm got to puff my chest out for this one. Because this one's got me amped up. In a good way, though. Because doing this episode lets me shows me how much I'm growing. But I hope it's going to give you great edification, and I hope that you get great substance from this, because what I'm going to talk about today in the Narcissism series, this is all about Manic, Martyr, Manipulator. And these three different things I'm going to discuss in regards to narcissism and the type of people that are out here today. Because at the end of the day, this is all spiritual warfare, people. All of it. Not one thing is not spiritual warfare. All of it is spiritual warfare. Do not get it twisted. It all is. And we're going to talk about these types of people to be aware of. And if you're like me, the best way to deal with these people is to not deal with them at all. All right? But if you want to deal with them, be aware of what you're dealing with. We're going to get into that today. We're going to get into these Manic, Martyr, Manipulators. We're going to cover all of it, because narcissism is just another way of talking about wickedness and evil people, and people that are very deceptive, people that are very wicked in their spirit, and they don't want to acknowledge that they are. Now, we all sin. Okay, we all struggle. We all got demons. Listen, I got demons that I got to battle with every day, and I'm under constant attack. You know, and I got to thank Brother Godaiwan from the BOCC for letting me know that Satan is not over with me, that I'm still under attack. All right. And even though sometimes you may think the attacks have lightened up, that's just because they're just messing with you. They're just leaving you alone for a minute to get you lax. But this is not a time to get lax in the days of revelations. So I'm going to talk about that because it's very important that we understand that it's all about the Most High. It's all about Christ, the Messiah, and living that life, being present in that spirit. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's go. So people, narcissism is rampant these days, especially because of social media. Actually, statistically, there are more women becoming narcissistic. Doesn't mean that there are more narcissistic women than men, because men have always been narcissistic. But women have always been less narcissistic than men throughout the ages. But in these days and times that we're in now, it's at an all-time, it's at an all-time rise. It's heightening. It's accumulating. It's, you know, Satan is recruiting a lot of people, and a lot of people that are narcissistic, they lack so much empathy, but what they also lack is just an understanding that they're the problem. And that's when we're going to talk about martyrs, because you got a lot of people that are this woe is me, that I'm always under attack, and you know, nobody likes me. I don't know why. And I always have this issue and I have that issue. And the reality is, listen, I'm on the constant attack. I got a lot of haters. I got a lot of righteous haters. I got a lot of people that are looking for my downfall, especially last year. If anybody that, you know, tunes into my show knows my story, knows that, you know, just to sum it up, to give you some bullet points about what I went through is, listen, I was being demonized by a man that should have showed me brotherly love, that I was showing love to. And this man basically created so much discord that if it would have went really south, you know, I had threats on me. Physical harm was threatened upon me from multiple people. I got tribally gaslighted. You know what I mean? People were saying that I should go kill myself. I had a woman who I thought I was in a meaningful relationship with that was posing to be my wife and girlfriend, or whatever you want to call it, because she wasn't any of those things. This woman was doing me so dirty that it will blow your mind if I was to tell you some of the things that were going on behind my back. This woman was looking to destroy me the moment she got with me. And we're going to get into that as far as manipulators. And then the reason why I put Manic in there for the title of this show is because these are things that you can be aware of so that you understand that you're dealing with a narcissist, because many narcissists deal with manic behavior. They display manic behavior, should I say. That's what they do. And you got to be very aware of this manic behavior, because it's very common with these people, and you see it all the time. You're probably witnessing it every day, whether you're watching social media or whether you're watching somebody in person act out in front of you. So we're going to talk about these things. See, because manipulation is one of the master tools of Satan. And that's why they say, many people, that when you're dealing with narcissistic people, their eyes will black out. They talk in different types of tongues or speech. They have these very sinister look about them. They're very cold. They're very calculated. They're just very evil, and they're very wicked. And a lot of them can come off like they're very pleasant. But there is a repetitive behavior. There is a pattern to their behavior, to be aware of these things, because a lot of them play the martyr game. A lot of them will always act out like little children. Like if somebody is always out to get them, they got a million gabillion stories about how people have hating on them wherever they go. And then they'll try to convince you it's because they got so much light in them. But the reality is, listen, a lot of us brothers and sisters, they got that Christ consciousness. They got a lot of of light in us. Yeah, we're attacked, but we're not complaining about it. If I was to complain about all the different little things that happen to me, especially when I go out into the world, sometimes I'll walk my dog and there'll be some dum-dum that will drive, and it's usually a dude in a pickup truck that always wants to say something. I've even had stuff thrown on me, or not thrown on me, but thrown at me from a car that's just driving by. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? It makes no sense. It happens to me all the time. I have people making comments to me that just off the wall, that don't make no sense. But then I've grown to mature to understand for quite some time now that that's just what it is. That's the life of the person that is following that righteous path, that's on the tightrope, the righteous tightrope towards salvation in the spirit of Christ, in the spirit of the Messiah, in the spirit of Yah. Okay, you're going to go through this. It's been written in scriptures throughout the ages. It's been described in so many ways. But these other people, this martyrdom, right? Because what is a martyr? Let's look it up. Now, a martyr is a person who's killed because of their religious or other beliefs. Now, traditionally, in the days of antiquity, that's what a martyr is, right? But what it also says here is that while the term is still used to this day, it's taken on a secondary meaning that's a bit less dramatic. Now, let's just look at some examples here. It says the martyr is committed to being the one who doesn't get to be happy. Does that sound familiar to any of you people listening to this broadcast? Any of those people that just can't seem to be happy, no matter how much love, support, assistance that they get in their lives, they just never satisfied and never could be happy. Listen, I was raised by a martyr. I was raised by a narcissistic parent. Okay, I was raised by a parent that was always criticizing me. Then she married a man who took that criticism to a whole nother level to try to belittle me all the time. You want to talk about emotional abuse? That was my whole entire childhood. And I had to grow and really understand things and study things and really self-examine myself to understand, hey, why am I always trying to prove myself to people? Why am I always trying to prove my worth? Well, it was because I was raised by a narcissist that nothing was ever good enough. To this day, believe it or not. But see, now I understand it for what it is. And one of the biggest things that I understood, and it was my saving grace through the Most High giving me this wisdom, was, and especially when you start to understand what Christ goes through. That's why that Christ consciousness and living that life of Christ and having that light emanate within you and from out of you all the time is so important, because then you're in the vibration. You're in that frequency. And we're going to fall short sometimes. We're not always in that frequency of Christ consciousness, but just being aware that we're not can flip the switch right back on, because this life is challenging. But one of the saving graces for me through the Most High was like, stop caring about what other people think about you. All you need to be concerned with is caring about how I see you. And as long as you're operating and walking that righteous path in the light of the Messiah in which I came in, then you're going to be just fine, because then I'm going to see you and I'm going to see all the fruits of your spirit. Don't worry about if other people see the fruits of your spirit. Okay. Now, if people recognize the fruits of your spirit, great, wonderful. But don't get overly excited about that, because the only thing that matters is what the Most High is experiencing through your life. That's it. Nothing else. Once I understood that for what it is, it was like it was the new man. It was that new beginning. When I say when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. But I need to rephrase that, because really it's when you live in the present or the presence of the Messiah in Christ. When you live in that vibration and you live in that present moment on a consistent basis, because there's no such thing as time. That's when there's a new beginning. There's always an opportunity for a new beginning, because that's the new man. That's the new woman in you, because you did away with the old, right? But sometimes the old person tries to creep in, right? I talked to Brother Julian about this, where it's like that old man sometimes tries to come out the grave, right? That old woman, her hair starts to come out the dirt. Her nose starts to poke out. You better shove it back in and keep it under the dirt. That person's dead. Keep them there, because the new you, the new refined you through Christ, is the person that is meant to be in order to reach salvation. Now, with that being said, doesn't mean that just because you're walking in this vibration that you're not going to be attacked. If anything, you're going to be attacked more, because a lot of times, and I say this about a particular person, I won't mention any names, but I always say that when demons come to visit her, they're just like, what do we have to do? There's nothing to attack here. Like, move on to the next one. I mean, that's how bad it is with certain people. They're just like, a demon's like, oh, they already done. There's no reason to attack them. But when you're walking in that light, when you have that spiritual awareness of who and what you are and what you're meant to serve as the spiritual being, having a physical experience on this plane, also known as planet, that's when you understand, like, you're going to be attacked, because they can't listen, especially when you're teaching anything that's righteous, especially when it comes to repentance. You're teaching people how to gain their power back, because a lot of us, many of us are being led astray from the Most High. So much so, they want to completely lead us astray and turn us into robots. They want to put chips in our head. They want to know everything we're doing. The powers that shouldn't be, these demonic principalities, these forces that we can't see, but we can feel their presence if we're aware enough. And let's call it what it is. Some of us can see them. I wish I had the ability to see them, but I can feel them. I can feel when they're around. The air, the frequency in the air is a little bit different, because the prince of the power of the air, he manipulates the air, manipulates the frequencies. And the Most High allows him to, for good reason, because faith is our test, people. Faith is our test. So let's go back into reading this martyrdom in relationships. The martyr's committed to being the one who doesn't get to be happy, who doesn't get what everyone else gets. The martyr always has a reason why he or she can't let you help him. You'll do it wrong, or they don't want to see wrong in what they're doing. And then they'll have to redo it, or it's just easier if he or she does it, or he's already started. He doesn't really mind. Blah, 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 right? That's the definition here in Google. Let's check out this one. I didn't even know this existed. What is a toxic martyr? What is toxic martyrdom? A martyr is someone who appears to take pleasure in hassling themselves to help others or take care of their needs that aren't their own. And that's by McMahon. What does martyr mean? Victim. Psychologists use the term martyr complex to refer someone who chooses to feel and act like a victim. Does that sound familiar to any of you? I'm pretty sure you know a lot of people. I know I do. These are the people I stay away from. Because you know what's going to happen, people, if you don't stay away from them? You got to deal with them accordingly. Sometimes, let me just say this. Not everybody we can stay away from. I've been fortunate that certain people that I've dealt with like this, I can physically stay away from them, and I can stay away from them, as far as having any type of contact, whether it be on phone or in person. Not all of us have that opportunity or luxury to do so, but you can deal with them accordingly. You can handle them so that they don't overwhelm you with their nonsense. It says, like a people pleaser, a person with martyr complex will sacrifice his or her own needs to please others. But a martyr also feels helpless, trapped, victimized by other people's demands. And it's not even just demands. These people get upset when they don't get their way. Okay. Then they play the martyr game too. Then they'll try to create a narrative of who you are to make themselves feel better about themselves. And it's all nonsense. And when I got attacked last year heavily, when I'm talking about when these principalities was trying to eliminate me, because if I wasn't strong through the grace of the Most High and through Christ, I'm telling you something, people, I could have been in a situation where I wanted to kill myself. I've never had those thoughts. If anything, I always wanted to get at other people and be like, if I'm going to get killed, I'll get killed by hurting other people. Then at least I get to get them, and then the cops can take me out. I've had those types of thoughts before, for sure. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this person out. I'm going to take this person out, and then they'll take me out. But I never thought about killing myself. But thinking of killing yourself is something very serious, all right? And it's something that many of our brothers and sisters deal with. And that's why I do what I do, because if I could give any of my brothers and sisters inspiration to let them know that that you got to go back to the Most High and really fill your spirit up with that understanding, you're going to be good. That's the message I deliver. Because, hey, like many of you may know, some of you that don't know, my nephew committed suicide at age 26. And to this day, it still affects me. I could talk to you a little bit more with a straight face without getting too emotional. And I have to battle that too. Because sometimes every time I bring it up, I want to cry. But I don't, just for the sake of, I have to strengthen myself in the sense that I understand how and why these things happen. And it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason, and that reason is there to serve you. And my nephew's suicide definitely served me in understanding that this spiritual warfare is real and it's not to be taken lightly. But going back to, my situation, it could have been that bad to where I would have got killed. Threats were made on me, but it wasn't even that serious. See, because a lot of times Satan and his dark principality forces, these forces of evil, they're really not powerful. But if they can manipulate you to just getting weak in the spirit, then you take care of the rest. They're just planting the seeds. They're just creating the realm of fear for you to gravitate and to absorb and consume that fear within you. And then you become self-destructive and you do yourself away through the seeds that they plant. But these types of people, these martyrs, I look at them as, just me personally, and I know it sucks because I hate admitting to it, but I'm disgusted by these people. I find these people to be extremely pathetic. Now, I won't tell them that, not just because I don't want to hurt their feelings, because it's not really right to do that. You know what I mean? And that's something I struggle with sometimes. One of my biggest demons is anger. That's my sin. That's one of them. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my biggest things. Like lust for women and all that, that's not really something I struggle with. But when it comes to anger, when it comes to just dealing with people who are just little pieces of what, they're just little pieces of crap. And they just want to, especially like the bullies and just the manipulators, all these types of people that are always looking to get over and try to hurt somebody or create a scenario or create discord or slander people. Telling you, and I'm disgusted, but it's true. The Most High don't like ugly. The Most High looks down on that like on a whole nother level that I can only begin to understand. But also is that deal with these people accordingly. Don't feed into their martyr syndrome. Don't feed into the woe is me thing. Because if you are an empathetic person, you have to be careful because you always want to help these people because they always seem to be in turmoil. They always seem to be like, stressed out because everybody's against them. Everybody against them at whatever job they go to. Doesn't matter what job they have. Everybody's against them at the job. If they're in some kind of congregation or group, everybody's against them, or most people are against them. If they're in a school, same thing. If they're family, everybody's against them. It's ridiculous. See, in my family, everybody's not against me. I just know I'm the black sheep. I know I think differently. I know when I start talking about certain things, my family starts doing that. They start rolling their eyes. And I used to get upset, but I'm like, why do I care about what these people think about me? Just because they're family don't mean that I need to care about what they think. I know what I know. Let me stick to what I know. And if I do want to be in an environment that welcomes this type of critical thinking, then I need to surround myself with people that think the same way and that have that mindset of understanding and seeing things for what they are. And I think that now that I'm in my 40s, matter of fact, I'm going to be 45 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. And I can tell you that I'm in a point in my life as I'm getting older now. I'm about to be 45 in the next, 12 or whatever hours. I'm in a great place spiritually. And it's only getting better because this is not the end, right? But I'm in a great place in sense that I specifically talk to people that are like-minded. And I got some beautiful friends, people. I got a couple of friends. I don't have many, but I have a few friends that I've had friendships for over 25 to damn near 40 years. They're still going strong today, that love me dearly and I love them. And they give me great examples of what a faithful friend is. And I hope that many of you do. And if you don't, that's okay. Because you know who you always will have with you and you're never going to be alone? You're always going to have that Christ. You're always going to have the Most High right in here and here. And it's really in here. because this is the master deceiver right here. This is where Satan works. And there's something called the ego, which you've heard us talk about on the Network of Awareness plenty of times. Ego versus spirit, edging God out instead of letting God in, okay? Letting God in instead of edging God out, which that's what the ego does so wonderfully. That's why you got so many people be like, I'm a God. I manifest things. I do this. I could fly. You know what I'm saying? Or, I could do this. I could do anything I put my mind to and this and that. And there's truth in that. But it doesn't come from you. That's the big problem that a lot of people don't understand. But not to digress and not to go off in a different tangent. Let's stick to the topic here. Let's talk about these manic behaviors. Have you ever seen a lot of women going like this with their hair? They're always worried about how they look. They can't look you in the eye. They can't look you in the eye. Men too. You got men that are always like nervous, can't look you in your eye, can't be real with you, always fidgeting. They're always fidgeting, always worried about how other people perceive how they look. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. I could give a rat's ass of what people think about how I look. You don't like the way I look? Oh, well, it's my body. I don't care. People care too much about what other people think about them. And I'm here to tell you people, stop doing that. If you're doing that, stop it. Who cares? Especially people that are looking to come back to the Most High or trying to establish a relationship. When you're in certain places and, you're dealing with people that are dealing with spiritual matters, reading scriptures and all that, they're just men and women, just like you. Don't need to put nobody on no damn pedestal. They eat, breathe, crap, eat, fart, just like you. It's no different. I think sometimes, I remember when I used to work in corporate America and they'd be like, oh, the CEO is coming or the president. And everybody's like, wants to act different. And it's like, so what? You doing a good job? Then keep doing what you're doing. What you worried about what this person's going to think of you? It's ridiculous. And that's the society that we live in. I don't even really blame people for being like that. That is the principalities. That's the forces that have socially conditioned this place to be like that. And I'm not just talking about the United States or should I say the United Shenanigans of America. I'm talking about the world, people, because this world is under lockdown by Satan. This is Satan's world, okay? And rightfully so. Because faith is our test. We got to see, Most High's got to see if we're about this life. And what better way than to get tested, right? Because it's just like a soldier. It's just like if you're going in Navy SEAL training. Before you can actually become a Navy SEAL, you know what you got to go through and all these different tests and trials that you got to go through. You know how many people ring that bell? A lot of people ring that bell. Only a chosen few that actually endure all those different tests and trials never ring that bell and wind up becoming SEALs and wind up being ready to be a SEAL. And it's no different from our lives. We got to get tested. We have to, because the Most High's got to see our commitment, because the only way to the Father is through Christ, through the Son, because the Son is the Father and the Father is the Son. And that which is and always will be. Now, let's talk more about these manic behaviors before I get into some videos here, because, let me tell you, manic behaviors is something that you got to be it's a pattern to it. The manic behavior is instability. It's unstable. Manic people are usually narcissistic. I'm not going to say all, right? Because I'm not a psychologist or a doctor or anything, but I've got a lot of experience with this. But manic behavior is people like that they just they don't seem comfortable in their own skin. They're always fidgeting. You can hear them if they're talking on a microphone. They're always making noises. If you see them on camera, if you're in front of you, they're always fidgeting. They're always doing this and that. And they can't be still. They can't be still in the presence and being present with the Most High, being still with that Christ consciousness. They can't be still. They can't hold that light into one frequency. Their frequency is a schism. It's all distorted. It's all over the place. We have a lot of people like that, especially on social media, especially. Now, I want to give out a shout out to Brother Gadaiwan, because he shared a post in a group chat that I'm in a text, and I want to play this. So I'm gonna pull it up here because I thought this was I thought this was phenomenal. I really it was just like, wow, like whew, you want to talk about this right here was just amazing, people. So I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here so I can share it. And let's see here. All right, so I hope that y'all can see that, and let me see if I can make it bigger, which is, I don't think it's that important. I think people can see that right there, right? So let's play this one.
Never apologize for having standards. And the beauty of standards is standards will always expose those who come with an agenda. And your emotional intelligence and biblical standards will always frustrate those who can't run game on you. It will always frustrate manipulators. Then what you have to be careful of is manipulators will try to project on you. They'll start to say things like, you got trust issues. How about, this is not trust issues. This is, I've seen this pattern before, and I refuse to entertain the same pattern of being deceived because I compromised my standards. To have standards is to be aware of your value. To have standards is to be aware that God set your value to priceless. Now, the danger in allowing people to give you value or give you significance is you give them the power to set your price. So you could be more valuable than the whole department store, but you will settle with being on the clearance rack just so that you can get their approval. And it's not a standard if you are not willing to experience loss. If you aren't willing to lose something due to your standard, it's not a standard, it's just a suggestion. Sometimes we have mislabeled victories because if you lost them, but found you really won. If the relationship failed, but now you have a prayer life, you really won. If you didn't get the position, but that wasn't what God had for you anyway, you really won. Never apologize for having standards. Never apologize.
Facts. Oh, brother, well said. Well said. I mean, talk about straight up facts. I mean, whew, I feel like playing it again. I wonder if I should play it again. Let me play it one more time, just in case it didn't sink in. Let's just play it one more time.
Guys, for having standards. And the beauty of standards is standards will always expose those who come with an agenda. And your emotion.
Keep in mind, boundaries, okay? That's one thing that he didn't say, but is alluding to as well. Have spiritual boundaries. Have boundaries with people. Boundaries is one of the best things that you can have with people. So they know that they can't mess with you. They know they can't take advantage of you. And what he's describing is that behavior that once you set those standards, these people, that's that manic behavior. They get all upset. They start, saying like what he says, and let's gonna play it again, but they're going to try to find something wrong with you. They're going to say you got issues, you emotionally unstable, you're this and that. But it's really just them. The important thing is to not get caught up in their nonsense when they do say these things to you. Let's continue.
Emotional intelligence and biblical standards will always frustrate those who can't run game on you. It will always frustrate manipulators. Then what you have to be careful of is manipulators will try to project on you. They'll start to say things like, you got trust issues. How about, this is not trust issues. This is, I've seen this pattern before, and I refuse to entertain the same pattern of being deceived because I compromised my standards.
And let me tell you something. It is a blessing that I was in a narcissistic relationship with one of the most wicked women I've ever met in my life. It was a blessing from the Most High. Because even though principalities were working through it, I survived it. And the fact that I was able to survive it through the grace of the Most High is giving me so much wisdom that I can identify, like the brother said, these patterns that I've seen before. So now, if you've seen them before, don't repeat the same mistake twice, like I was talking about on the other broadcast, because what's going to happen? If you allow the mistake, the spiritual mistake that you made to be repeated, it's going to be far worse the second time. The Most High is not going to feel empathy or anything. Like, you're going to have to learn that lesson even far worse than you had to learn it the first time. It's going to be far worse is what I mean. That lesson and that mistake is going to be bad. And then if you don't do it, the third time, it's going to be even worse. Like in my situation, you know, once I realized that the woman that I was with was committing adultery, was a fornicator, was a liar, was deceptive, was dirty. Once I started figuring these things out, you know, her level of manipulation went harder and harder. And she was begging me to stay with her. She was begging me to stay in her life, like literally, like all the time. Like, no, don't go. Do this. We're going to do that. You know, come to my house and stay for a month, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, if I would have stayed in that house, which I would have never slept in that dirty bed that probably all other types of nasty things were done in that I wasn't unaware of. But if I would have stayed in that house, I would have been killed, or I would have wound up killing somebody that was going to try to kill me. It might have been her, or it might have been another man. And I felt it. The Most High was like, you better not go down that route, because that's going to lead you to some darkness. And even though a lot of us are spiritually protected, at the end of the day, we need to know better. Just because we're spiritually protected, we can't allow our ego to be like, well, I'm protected. I could just do whatever I want. No. You better have some major discernment, because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, if I would have went there, I saw it. It was like it was like the Most High just showed me the scenarios in like 100 different ways of what can go down. And it was my responsibility, and through the freedom of that will to choose if I'm going to choose the Most High or if I'm going to choose Satan, if I'm going to choose righteousness or am I going to choose wickedness, because we do have a choice. And I chose to deal with the Most High. And I said, I ain't going to that house. Matter of fact, I'm done with this relationship. One of the best decisions I ever made. It's made me stronger. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, people. And that's why it's so hard. It's so good to embrace Christ, to embrace that spirit. Because once you embrace it, man, it's a new world. It's a new experience. It's a new beginning that you can presently live in day by day and be present in it at all times. All right.
To have standards is to be aware of your value.
To be aware of your value. Now, I'm going to go into another video here. All right. So let's do that right now. I'm going to show you another video. Now, this one, this is a video I shared a while back. All right. Some of you may know it. So I know I have a lot of new listeners. So, you know, to my new listeners around the country, and I'm going to give some shout outs to the people, throughout the world, because I haven't done that in a while. So I think it's very important that, you know, we recognize individuals that support this network, the individuals that take time out to download, to leave reviews, to like, and to share emails, send information. I truly love you, brothers and sisters. Truly. What I'm about to show you right now, it's not just women, but this is going to be a woman. And this is the perspective that a lot of women had. This is this toxicity. I'm pretty sure that this woman plays the martyr a lot. I don't know her, but based on what you're going to listen to, you can just get an idea of what this individual is like in person. Not somebody I would want to be around. Definitely somebody I wouldn't want to be in a relationship, let alone be married to. All right. That's why when I did that show with Brother Aqua, you know, faithful friend, when we are getting to know each other, brothers and sisters, especially if we want some type of romance and something meaningful in our relationships, we got to take our time. We got to be patient. You got to really get to know people. I think one of the biggest problem, and it's been a problem probably since the beginning of time, is that people, they wind up having sex way too fast. They wind up getting intimate on a physical level way too fast. And then that just leads to bad things down the line, and the relationship doesn't last because they didn't really get to experience each other spiritually. You know, I read in a book one time, it's a great book, is Fear Becoming a Man. And in that book, the author talks about how when we're dealing with, as men, when we're dealing with our sisters, with our women, all right, with women, we cannot look at them as pieces of meat. We got to look at them just like we would look at another man that we're getting to know, to build a friendship with, right? Just like as men, when we're dealing with another brother and we want to see if this brother or this man is going to be our boy, our friend, our peoples, we got to see how he operates. We got to see how he operates in groups. We got to see how he treats me when it's one-on-one, when we're around people. We got to see if he's going to be able to come through when times get tough, or if he's just around for the luxury of when things are going good. All of that. We got to see if he is ego-driven, if he's trying to always play himself around other women. That's what we do naturally. Ones that are, those of us that have morals and principles. We got to do the same thing with women. We can't just get caught up in like, oh, she's got a nice body, I can't wait to hit that. Or having this sexual desire that's uncontrollable. Got to look at her like, hey, let's see how she moves. Let's see how she is spiritually. Let's see how she's going to operate when things go wrong. Let's see how she's going to treat me around other people. Let's see how she's going to treat me one-on-one. It's not always about the sex. The sex will be good if the relationship is established the right way, the meaningful way. Then everything is just going to fall into place. But if you rush it and you try to do it your way instead of the Most High way, it's always going to go bad. It's always going to be the wrong way. So I want you to pay close attention to this because this one, I'm telling you, if anything, what I'm about to play, I will guarantee this for both men and women that are listening to this. Get ready to get a good laugh. Especially my brothers and sisters out in the UK, because the man that's in this video that's doing the commentary is from the UK. Shout out to all my people in the UK. Love y'all. Let's go.
The problem with the world today.
The world? All of it? Oh, I'm interested.
Is that a lot of y'all men were never taught what a real man is and what a real man does.
Do we not? Oh, sorry about that. Well, I'm excited to hear what a real man is. Hopefully from a real woman. Continue.
A real man works 7 days a week.
Seems excessive, but okay. 7 days.
Comes home to his stay-at-home wife.
Okay, well, I hope she's got company.
Cooks her a hot meal.
Of course, she needs to eat, doesn't she?
Does the laundry.
That's fair. Can't have you smelling now, can we?
Make sure her nails and toes and her hair is done.
Working 7 days a week won't stop this man from becoming a beauty therapist as well.
Serves her.
What with, a restraining order?
Does the dishes.
Anyone else start getting the feeling she's taking the piss?
Make sure the kids are put away to sleep.
Keep them away from your lazy ass, more like.
Gets up in the morning, get them ready for school.
Then hop on a plane to get away from that woman as far away as you possibly can.
And do it all over again. That's a real man.
Wow. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. You'd be surprised, though. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you will be surprised on how many of these types of people are out here. All right. She's not the only one. All right. There's a lot of men like that, too. They got these certain standards. They got these certain delusions of grandeur of who they are and how they need to be treated. And this goes into that manipulation, but it also goes into the manic person. Like that woman, I can only imagine what a day would be like with a woman like that. Now, I've met women like this. Okay. I was very attracted, to a woman on spiritual level that I had a great interest in a couple of years ago. And I lost interest spiritually because she'd always tell me what she wants from a man. A man's got to do this. I want a man like this. But she was never telling me what she was willing to do, what type of partner she would be for the man that she desires. Never told me, not once. And I'm just like, boy, you got a lot of things that you want a man to be, but what are you willing to do? And by the time she was willing to show me and tell me, I already had lost interest. It took her a while, but I couldn't muster up the energy to be like, well, let me explore this. Now she's starting to see the light. Just didn't have it in me no more. But these types of women, people, are out here, and men. Because I don't want the women to think that I'm focusing on them and I'm trying to bash women. There's men like this too, all right? These manipulators come in all shapes and sizes. They come male and female, all right? I don't talk about synthetic people because that's not even real. But they're all over the place, especially here in the United Shenanigans of America, all right? Got to be aware of these manipulators because when they don't get their way, they're going to find something wrong with the way that you are setting your boundaries, the way that you're standards you're holding near and dear to your standards, especially when it comes to the Most High in Christ. They're always going to find something wrong with you. They're always going to tell you that you got the issue when it's them. Like my boy, Billy Izzy, shout outs to Billy Izzy, who's a relationship crisis counselor. He always says this to me. He says, it's not a you problem. It's a them problem. Because especially in a situation where a lot of times, people don't like you and you don't even do nothing wrong to them. You're just just like, what did I do to you? Like, what happened? Was I breathing the wrong way? Did I blink too many times? You know, it's ridiculous. But this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of the broadcast, is that don't care about what people think about you. Be concerned about what the Most High thinks about you, how the Most High sees you. Be focused on, am I walking in that light of Christ? Am I operating like Christ would do? What's that very common cliche saying? What would Jesus do? What would the Most High, what would the Messiah do in a situation? Be concerned with that. That's always going to lead you to the truth. You're never going to be led astray when you start focusing on and committed to those thoughts and saying, all right, how do I need to handle this? Do I need to handle this the way I feel is best? Or should I go read my scriptures, and should I be concerned on how the Most High would deal with this and how the Most High says I should deal and handle this? Because if you deal and handle it with the Most High's way, you'll never be led astray. You'll never be disappointed. And I mean that. Never. Why? Most High makes no mistakes, people. With that being said, I did mention that I wanted to give a shout out and just recognize the brothers and sisters that have, been supporting the show, because we do have people all over the world that listen to the Network of Awareness. And I think it's important that we recognize these people for what the contributions and just the overall support that they give. It's very important that we do that. So let's do that, right? So let me pull it up here. I'm just going to pull up my stats, and I'm going to go to see, because I'm on my stat page here, I get to see all the states within the United States, and then all the different countries and the actual locations. Now, I'm not going to read the specific towns and cities because that would take forever, but I am going to read out the countries that support as well as the states within the United States. That I'll do, because that won't take up too much time. But of course, let's just name some of the top countries that support. Canada. Shout out to everybody in Canada. United Kingdom, India, Germany, Bangladesh, Netherlands, Mexico, Austria. Shout out to all my people in Austria. I know that you brothers and sisters are dealing with that heavy burden of, the whole Caca-19 and the science appliance thing. I know they're hitting you brothers and sisters hard out there. Shout outs to my peoples in Russia, Philippines, Hungary, Spain, Brazil, Australia, Costa Rica, Greece, South Africa, Finland, Israel, Poland, Saudi Arabia, Denmark, Italy, Sweden, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and then of course the others that are not listed. Now, and if I don't mention some of you countries, it's because it's not listed. It puts it down as others sometimes, and that's just because only a few people download it, so it's not going to put you in the top tier of the rankings. But let's go to the United States, and same for those in the United States. The good thing is that we're almost in all of the states within the U.S., so that's pretty cool. So shout outs to Georgia, shout outs to New York, shout outs to Louisiana. And by the way, I don't want to forget the thought. So this is something I wanted to present. Now, give me 1 second, because I'm actually going to go get this. It's right here. So people, check this out. This is going to be interesting. This is why I tell you the Most High makes no mistakes. When I was in a relationship with this woman, if you even want to call it that. But when I was in a relationship, right, and I had taken a trip to Louisiana because that's where she's from, and we had went to New Orleans for a little vacation. I'm going to show you a shirt that I purchased. Or actually, she bought it for me. I picked it out. She bought it for me. It was as a joke. But let me tell you, sometimes there's truth within jokes, right? Comedians say it all the time. When they joke around, it's because most jokes that are really funny is because there's truth based to it. And the Most High makes no mistakes. The Most High reveals things to you when it's time, will reveal things to you when it's time for you to understand it, when you're ready to understand it. And it wasn't until like 3 or 4 months after this relationship was over that I saw this shirt, because I haven't worn it in a while, but I saw it and I looking at it, I'm like, damn, it's just crazy how things play themselves out. Now, mind you, like I told you, I dumped this lady like a bad habit. I divorced her. I let her go. I let her go because that was the best decision for my peace of mind, so that I don't self-destruct. And this shirt says it all. You know how they say a picture says 1,000 words? Well, check this out. And let me move my microphone here. I want y'all to see this, brothers. Now, you tell me if that's not the truth, because exactly what that picture is showing you is exactly what I had to do. All right. I had to get rid of the manipulator. I had to get rid of the manic martyr manipulator. So matter of fact, let me take these headphones off. People, let's continue. I saw Louisiana on my list. So I was like, you know what? Let me show the people that in regards to this, cause there's something I wanted to, show you brothers and sisters before. So let's continue on the list. Shout out to all my peoples in Illinois. Shout out to my people in Chicago, in that concrete jungle out there that's so tumultuous. Shout outs to Texas, New Jersey. Shout outs to my daughter. My daughter's got an announcement to tell me, and I'm hoping it's not what I think it is, because I am not ready to be a grandfather. I'm telling you right now. So people, please pray that it's not that. I hope that there's a new job or something else. Shout outs to my peoples in California. Shout outs to North Carolina, Utah, Colorado, Virginia, Washington, Arizona, Nevada, South Carolina, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Missouri, Pennsylvania. Shout outs to my cousins in Pennsylvania. Shout outs to Alabama. Shout outs to my cousin in Virginia too. Shout outs from cousin Edwin. Shout outs to Brother Kakum out in Alabama. Shout outs to the Phelps family, Connecticut. Shout outs to my nephew Julian out there. Shout outs to Wisconsin, Maryland, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Minnesota, Nebraska, Massachusetts, District of Columbia, Oregon, Rhode Island, North Dakota, Kansas, Idaho, Delaware, New Hampshire, Alaska, West Virginia, Maine, and New Mexico, and all you other brothers and sisters that I didn't get to mention. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. We're only getting better, baby. And through the grace of the Most High in Christ, nothing can stop us. None of these damn principalities can stop us. So I hope that a lot of this is making sense to you brothers and sisters, because it took me a long time to be able to set boundaries as a man. I mean, a really long time. I mean, I just started setting boundaries in my mid-40s, because before that, it was a problem. But I had to repeat certain mistakes in order to really understand it, because some of us are very hard-headed, and I definitely was. I was a very hard-headed individual, especially when it came to women. I was always the guy that was going to be a Captain Saver, you know what? And I was always like, hey, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. And, it stems back to my childhood trauma of always being criticized and always having to feel like I had to prove my worth. So I was like that in relationships. Like, I'm going to prove to her that I'm a good man, that I'm this and that. And yeah, I was myself, just like many of our brothers and sisters. We tend to be ourselves, and that's a good thing. You want to be comfortable in your own skin, but don't overextend yourself. It's no reason to. If somebody's going to truly love you and see you for who you are, they're going to see it. The Most High will reveal it to them. It's not even really just you. Let the Most High take care of that. Because as long as you're operating, walking that righteous tightrope, maintaining balance, as long as you're in that state of consciousness, if you're in that frequency and vibration, and if they're real, they're going to see it. They're going to recognize it. They're going to see you. They're going to see you for who you truly are. And they're going to embrace it, and they're going to appreciate it. Plain and simple. They're going to appreciate it. And if they don't, then they don't. Don't worry about it. You're going to see another day. This experience that you're dealing with, we was born into this plane alone. We're born onto this planet alone. So there's no reason to get all worked up because somebody don't want to share that experience with you no more, or somebody don't like you, especially if you didn't do anything wrong to them. And if you did do something wrong to them, apologize and repent for your wrongdoings, or repent for your transgressions, and then keep it moving. All right. So I hope that this episode, this narcissism episode, brought you great substance. Just be aware of these people. Be aware. And let's just do a recap real quick before I go. Be aware of these manic behaviors. And you know what else I'm going to do here? I'm going to play some music too. I'm going to play some music because we are a podcast radio show. So I'm going to play some music from the brothers, and I'm going to come right back and wrap things up. But before I do wrap things up, just remember that boundaries is important, people. Like the brother said, boundaries is important. Stick to what you know and the wisdom and knowledge that you gain in the scriptures that you can give back in your charity. Stick to the fruits of operating within Christ, so that your fruits of the spirit can just be seen for what they truly are, as fruitful, because there's always going to be people that just don't like you. You ever been in a situation where you just come into a certain environment, or a friend invites you out and they got other friends and one of their friends don't like you, whatever? Don't get caught up in that, because certain energies don't mix. And like my boy Billy said, it's not a you problem, it's a them problem. So let them deal with their problems. Just keep living your life to serve the Most High. So with that being said, let's put my headphones back on. Let's let's listen to this music. I'm gonna do my little DJ Aura thing real quick, and then I'm gonna be right back. Okay, brothers and sisters. So let's do it. And I'm gonna mute myself on my microphone. All right. So I'm just gonna be bopping my head while y'all get to listen to this music. And like I said, this also streams to my audio. So people that are listening to this on audio, and then those of you that will be able to watch this on my YouTube channel. Let's get it popping, right? Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Ready for war, moving on one accord, brethren at my side, we just gotta endure, taking my thoughts and bringing to Christ, throwing down imaginations, I'm just trying to stay patient, stand fast, can't wait, yeah we ready for war, moving on one accord, brethren at my side, we just gotta endure, dodging demons like the Matrix, I'm just trying to go home, swore made it that truth, so I just gotta move on, ready for war, ready for death if I go like that, so if I die, I pray that I die for the most high God. I can't turn around, I can't look back, so it's all out war. I'm seeing the path so narrow, careful to not fall. Get up for it's too late, sun come with a blaze with a judgment. In that day, won't see where the sun went all black like sackcloth and the moon blood. This is a warning to go and repent. This is a warning to seek out the Lamb. This is the point where you go and examine. Gotta stay patient, I'm looking inside. Trust the Most High with all of my life. I love all my brothers, we suffer with Christ. When it feel like death, just know that it's life. Don't give up, Christ paid that price. Don't give up, Christ paid that price. Yeah, we ready for war. Moving on one accord. Brethren at my side. We just gotta endure. Taking my thoughts and bringing to Christ. Throwing down imaginations. I'm just trying to stay patient. Stand fast, can't wait. Yeah, we ready for war. Moving on one accord. Brethren at my side, we just gotta endure, dodging demons like the Matrix, I'm just trying to go home, swore made it that truth, so I just gotta move on.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
Sometimes the best thing to do is walk away so you can protect your peace, protect your energy, and keep growing. You'll never be able to fully grow into your true potential until you learn to let go of the things that are holding you back and weighing you down. Yeah, I've been going through it, but I never asked why. I just know I gotta fly, I'm gone, spiritually growing. Yeah, I gotta go and touch the sky, left behind, praise Yah, and I'm gone. Been going through this journey of life, such a wild ride, so many ups and downs, so many that done drag me down. Had to let them go, lot of pain up in my soul. gotta keep going on. When you start waking, they say you change and start rearranging the way they start acting towards you. Turn they back on you. You said you never leave. Cut the heart up off my sleeve and just stepped on it. Should've just kept that shit, at least it would be beating. I'm feeling defeated, fatigue, I can't catch my breath. Just wanna collapse, yeah, I keep on running laps. Miss y'all, but no turning back. You said what you said and did what you did, so I gotta leave. All that shit can't be undid. I gotta leave, protect my energy. I gotta go, I'll forever love you though. I've been going through it, but I never asked why. I just know I gotta fly, I'm gone, spiritually growing. Yeah, I gotta go and touch the sky, left behind, praise Yah, and I'm gone. I'm so tired, but I gotta keep on going. I can't let y'all my wife or my son down, so I gotta keep on growing. Such a long journey, but a longer way to go. Can't let it go, my heart is cold, it's made of gold. Gotta keep on pushing for my son. I'm the chosen one, was built for this. Why they say they love me, but keep talking shit. Not trying to complain, just venting empty in my soul. I gotta let it go, releasing, receiving so much favor from Yah, Shalom, Barakatah, I'm gone. I gotta keep on stepping, just serving my purpose. Yeah, been going through trials, but fucking man, it's worth it, because I'm only going up from here. Faith over fear, yeah. I've been going through it, but I never asked why. I just know I gotta fly, I'm gone, spiritually growing. Yeah, I gotta go and touch the sky, left behind, praise Yah, and I'm gone. I've been going through it, but I never asked why. I just know I gotta fly, I'm gone, spiritually growing. Yeah, I gotta go and touch the sky, left behind, praise Yah, and I'm gone.
When the light has faded and darkness is abroad, the light is only dim because the darkness teaches us lessons that need to be learned in order for one to move forward. Embrace the darkness, for the darkness is your friend. So there is no end. It's only an illusion to what has been. Follow the light and let the spirit embark on a flight to a destination unknown, but to a place where love is the building blocks that call this place home. We are always accompanied on this journey, but still feel alone. It is never the same journey or experience that is ever shown. It is your imagination that awakens the passion that will weather the storm, because it is the pure compassion in the soul that is vigorous and strong. We're one with eternity, so let's be connected to the positive stream that allows us to fulfill our infinite destiny, most definitely. Let's strive to be the best people we can be with a power that is humanly new to see. So mistaken dismay can lead us astray, so let us stay, for it is our free will that allows us to make a choice. So I choose Yahweh with no delay.
Shout outs to my nephew, Take One. This is called A Quest for Salvation. Let's go.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened, then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't stray away, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Mark, he said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give Yah praises.
We're the dark oasis, for countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep on praising, we go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundation. Y'all defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish. Keep on pursuing acts of violence, stir persistent act of defiance, freely forming a righteous alliance, truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance, steady defeating the ignorant science, sealing convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars to move in
Let's
silence.
talk about what matters. Drop the vanity. Folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power, turning the people with credence to cowards, seeking to seize believers with vows. Man, even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I'd have made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is personal person. So I'm aware of complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, so searching, networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously emerging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Depression gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on, long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keep it on. The righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavenly eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The people's inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you get from it? I made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is personal person. So I'm aware of complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, so searching, networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously emerging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
To my tree.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Next to me.
Shout outs to my brother from the same Heavenly Father, Brother Oxakai. Check out the Alpha Talk series on any podcast listening platform.
Time for this happen. We gotta hit you some bars to resonate with your soul. Bar Smiths, let's go. Let me talk my shit. American dream is nothing more but a mirage to keep you enslaved, controlled by the synagogues. They gave us a white man with blue eyes, called him God. Malcolm X started to learn before he sabotaged the truth that Muhammad Elijah was a fraud. The whole Islam nation, nothing but facade. You industry niggas is nothing but some cheap rods. Riding balls to Satan, giving his dick a massage. Americans Babylon, hidden the camouflage. Brotherhood recruitment and Masonic lodge. Triple scoops of the cold truth, that's how them dies. Taking shots that even Neil can't dodge. Land of the eagle, robbing you for your morals, promoting hair and evil. Heavily surveillance that every camera can see. GMO process and everything that defeats you. Wicked ways to the world is here to mislead you.
Thank God I'm alive. This world's so empty, I need you with me everywhere I
Is this an accident? It's one simple and strange, we trapped in it. Perhaps a tragic tactic to form the nations to sanction. Internet interactions, following bad habits. No matter how much you making, they always got their eye on it. It's evident the government don't want a peasant resident become activist artists who owns business or residence. Cause sooner or later, we're residing right next to them, controlling your next of kin, teaching them the world of sin. They only learn the worst of it, every kid will quit. With barcodes and biochips, slowly we accepting it, pretending it's benefiting. But I didn't wanna know what you be headed and what you're getting and selling. Cause in Armageddon, your brother is overprotected. So you always say yes to him, he wants to be respected. When our service has expired, he'll get tired and we all be irrelevant.
Thank God I'm alive. This world's so empty, I need you with me everywhere I go. I'm fighting day by day and night. Hope you can spare my soul.
Hey. On the surface he's grinding, but deep inside he's crying, trying to keep his eyes on the prize to keep the Messiah smiling. All stacked against him, he leans on Yah and not fought of violence. And when he call on Yah responds with such flawless timing. His environment's filled with zombies, it's not the brightest. Finding ways to escape this place, he gets lost with rhyming. Using his gift to uplift, but also constant reminder that somewhere someone needs his songs to give all praise to Yahweh.
Don't worry, just don't worry. Yahweh's gonna bring us home.
Hey, got the heart of a lion, armor all on his body. This shoot's the hardest thing ever, but still he costs the mileage. Deep in the trenches where wickedness prospers all the time. It's like the good gets punished just for doing what is smart and righteous. As the stars are aligning, Yahweh's calling his finest. All united, not divided. Tough road, but I think I'm alive.
Thank God I'm alive. This world's so empty, I need you with me everywhere I go. I'm fighting day by day and night. Hope you can spare my soul.
Brothers and sisters, we're going to end off the broadcast on this beat. This is one of my favorite beats. I call this beat, I haven't done a song to it yet. This is called that erotic hip hop, baby. Let's go. When you live in the presence of Christ, all things are possible. There's always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. Within you. So light up the darkness. Light up that tunnel and find your way through the darkness to the Messiah. Be in that light. Be in that light. And all praises to the Most High. Barakatah and Shalom, people.
sky.